In the previous part, we created a procedural forest using PCG, as you can see in the video. And in this tutorial, we are going to build it further. We will create paths, and using volumes, we will control where the objects can spawn. And this will allow us to make roads, clearing rivers, ponds, anything that can make our environment more believable. So let's get started. Before we get started, I assume you already watched the part 1 of PCG, because in last part we created this forest, and I'm assuming you already have this PCG's graph setup. So let's continue from here. So first we are going to go this plus button and here search for blocking volume. And here we have this actor here. And if we go to details panel, and here make sure the collision preset is set to no collision. So whenever you are walking through your forest with your character, there will be no collision with this volume. So next we have to make sure we have the correct brush shape. I'm going to use the cube one, but if you want, you can change it to uh, cone or cylinder, or any. For example, if you want, you also can make stairs collision, stair collision volume here. Totally up to you. I think you already know the use of these blocking volumes. And make a let's keep it as cube for now. And here let's resize it. You can resize it according to your forest, and just let me just set the random values accordingly. Okay, so let's stay on this part. Right. So next we are going to do is, let's go to this PCG graph, and here we are going to build that setup. Here search for get volume data, right? It is going to PCG task, is executing the PCG task. And now next we have to change the actor filter to all world actors, so it can affect all the actors inside that blocking volume. And here let's change the actor selection to by class instead of tag. Now change the actor selection class to blocking volume, right? And make sure the select multiple is checked. Next we need to search for volume sampler. Here we have the volume sampler. And next we also need a difference node, and here we have it. Now connect this to difference, and now make sure hold alt on from your keyboard and break this connection between tree surface sampler and transform point, and now connect this to source, right? And let me add a reroute node and reroute it here to make sure it looks clean. And now let's bring this pin from output of difference to transform points. And if I click on save now, now we have a volume affecting the place. If you don't see much of the difference here, then we can increase the size and see it is affecting the spawning trees. And we can do same for the grass, but I think it is okay to keep grass in that place. But if you still want to change it, like to want to remove it, then you all you have to do is connect this to source here, right? And then connect the output pin to transform. Of course it is going to lag your system because we are totally relying on CPU to calculate all this information instead of GPU. In the next part I will tell you what I mean by that, but till then we are just focusing on adding this volume. As I told you before, if try to affect the grass with it, it is going to kill your machine, right? And let's delete this node and make sure the grass is still there. Okay, and to keep the scene clean, we can make sure to add, let's move it a bit down, and let's bring them here. And now we are going to add a pathway in our forest. For that, go to selection mode and change it to modeling mode. And in the create section, go to draw spline. Let's hide the PCG for now, and let's build a basic spline for the pathway and click accept. And let's go back to selection mode. And here I will search for tag and I will set the tag to pathway. I will copy this name because we are going to need it inside our graph. Here I will move the grass again, and now let's build something new. And here search for get spline data node, right? And here change the actor filter again to all world actors, and this time keep it actor selection by tag and change it to pathway. Make sure select multiple is checked again, and now we need a Spline sampler node, right? And change the dimension to, let's keep it on Spline, and change the mode to distance, right? And we need to search for a projection node, right? And make sure to connect the landscape data node to projection target. Again, just trying to keep the graph clean. And next we need a bounce modifier node and press D to enable debug mode so we can see how it will look. Let's enable PCG now, and let's set the values again. Now let's set it to 400. Now you can see that the path there, and set the 400 minimum as well, minus 400 I guess. Okay, so let's leave it on 400, not minus 400, and set it to 100, and this one to 600. Yes, right. You don't have to set the this 600, but I just want to see how the path is formed. So that's why I set it to 500. And now next, just take this pin out and connect it to the difference node here, right? And now if I disable the debug mode, now you can see the path is set. And that's it for this one. These first two parts were mainly designed to be beginner friendly and show some things that PCG is capable of. Now that we have got the basics out of the way, we will start diving into the more advanced and optimized workflows. The goal is to build systems that are practical for games, not just nice looking cinematic environments like these ones.